Hey writers, greetings from the Writer's Penthouse Suite at the Millennium Resort and Spa. How do you know if and when there's enough there to pursue a story, to invest your time and energy and input on it? I have three. It's not a simple answer, for sure. It's a complicated answer because you're investing your heart and soul into telling this story or writing this book. And so, while it's a complex answer that requires some thought and practice, there are three guiding principles that I can share to help you move toward the decision if there's enough there. The first thing to consider is, what is your why? Why is this a book or screenplay or course or speech that you want to give, that you want to write and publish or perform? Is it because you want to make $1 million and win 7 Oscars next year, which is not, by the way, a realistic goal necessarily? But if it is a financial venture, then that's one thing to consider, and it's one thing to evaluate that more. If it is a story to share for your legacy, for yourself, for your soul, that is another set of considerations and what your investment should be in doing so. And still further, if you're just not sure, you want to do it for fun or a personal challenge or something like that, it's just good to tune in and know what your why is and be clear on that. The second thing is to assess your obstacles. Assess and consider the obstacles in the story or the material that you want to deliver. So in a nonfiction book, like the one I worked on with Jay Baer called Hug Your Haters, the book was about businesses dealing with haters, with online trolls, like hating and capping on their business, which is a big problem because, first of all, as an entrepreneur, a small business, or even a big business, it's something that needs to be dealt with and needs and requires a strategy. And so in a nonfiction world, the source of the problem that you're solving is an important asset and facet to be considering. So in the nonfiction world, or in more of a storytelling, novel, screenplay kind of world, and even in your micro stories within your book, what makes a story interesting is the conflict. In film world, we talk about stories being about three things. Actually, two sets of three things: character, and conflict, and conflict. And so depending on who you talk to, you might get those different answers. But one of the things that will make the story interesting and also make the audience want to tune in and find out what's happening is to see either how you are guiding them through overcoming the obstacles, like the haters in Hug Your Haters, or how your character is overcoming obstacles in the story that they are telling. So that's what people want to see and learn about. And the third thing is to consider who is the heroine of the story. So in nonfiction, it's often you as the author, or it can be the customers or clients or case uses that you're giving. And in fiction, it is dependent on who is that character you're creating. Or even if it's nonfiction, if it's a memoir, who is the character that is showing up in the story and what do they have to overcome? And the contrast between those two things is what makes sometimes the most there. So those are three things to consider. Again, it's not a cut and dry situation. The other thing, which is kind of a hard thing to measure, is your own passion for the story. It goes along with your why, but it's different. It's a bit different. It's your capacity. It's your vitality. It's your energy behind wanting to tell this story or share this material. If there is a high level of want, if it is something you can stick through for the next year or 2 years as you develop it and it gets published and it gets put out there, that's really something to consider. As you think about different options, what's the story you want to be, what's the kind of material you want to be working with for the next year or two or beyond that. if you're using a book as a business model for speaking and workshops and other kinds of things, what is your longevity? What is your passion for that project? So again, passion, know your why, and what kind of obstacles do you have? It's not to be derivative or reductive in the process of figuring out how much of a there is there, but that will give you some guidance. And if you feel like there's some stuff there, or if you're not sure, talk to your trusted advisor. And if you don't have one, feel free to reach out to me and I'll see if I can help you out.